Target Setting DEIS Action Planning Seminar. Key messages. Targets for DEIS action planning should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timed. SMART. SMART targets should be robust and evidence-based, originating from varied sources of data. Targets should be clearly aimed at students requiring specific interventions and supports. SMART targets should inform your actions and allocation of resources, which should impact teaching and learning. Looking at DEIS action planning. Some schools need further assistance in devising SMART targets based on the data that are meaningful and realistic within their specific contexts. Devising SMART targets and understanding the data underpinning them remains a challenge for over a third of schools. Department of Education, 2022. SSE 6-step process. Step 1, identify focus. Step 2, gather evidence. Step 3, analyse and make judgments. Step 4, write and share report and improvement plan. Step 5, put improvement plan into action. Step 6, monitor actions and evaluate impact. Step 1, identify the focus. Here's an example. To decrease the percentage of fifth-year students with partial absences. So decrease is the verb, and the percentage of fifth-year students with partial absences is the thing affected. So this is an example of a part of a SMART target. It's not completely SMART yet. We have just identified the focus so far, so we will build on this example throughout the video. Step 2, gather evidence. Do not collect too much data. Be concise and focused. Carefully consider what information you actually need. What data do you already have? Consider the integrated nature of the themes and related issues. For example, with attendance, lates, partial days, retention risk, they are all interconnected. Be clear about who you will need to get information from, how many, representation, types of data, etc. Who has the skills to gather, collate, and analyse the data? Failing to plan is planning to fail. Stakeholders. Gathering data from a variety of stakeholders during the target setting process can promote a diverse range of perspectives and insights. How do you gather data representative of the whole school community? We're going to look at some quantitative data sources and some qualitative data sources. Quantitative data sources. State examination results, attendance data, standardized testing results, classroom-based assessment results, retention data, surveys. Quantitative data can be measured and given a numerical value. Qualitative data sources. Interviews, focus groups, teacher reflections, surveys, teacher observations, case studies. Qualitative data provides insights on emotions and perceptions from key stakeholders, including students and parents. Walking through a target. So again, this example is on attendance. So step 2 is to gather evidence, step 2 of our 6 steps. So we're going to build on the target, the example target that we had from previous slides. So that target was to decrease the percentage of fifth-year students with partial absences. So to decrease was the verb, and fifth-year students with partial absences was the thing affected. And now we're going to add on to that, and we're going to add on from 40%. So in this example, 40% would be the baseline. So that's where you're starting. So the baseline is the next part of our SMART target. Student voice. Why gather student voice? Article 12 of the United Nations Committee on the Rights of the Child states, state parties shall assure to student voice. Why gather student voice? Article 12 of the United Nations Committee on the Rights of the Child states, state parties shall assure to the child who is capable of forming his or her own views the right to express those views freely in all matters affecting the child, the views of the child being given due weight in accordance with the age and maturity of the child. So this is the Lundy model of participation. It involves space, voice, audience, and influence. How can student voice inform DEIS action planning? From a DEIS action planning perspective, gathering the perspectives of at-risk students allows schools to set meaningful targets and actions to meet the needs of these students. Student voice informing DEIS action planning. A school noticed that a cohort of students were failing to attend school regularly and felt that this cohort were at risk for leaving school early. Having set both attendance and retention targets for this cohort, the school then organised a focus group to ascertain why this cohort were becoming increasingly disengaged from school. From the focus group with these students, it transpired that the students were apathetic towards learning and found classwork monotonous. Further conversation with this cohort revealed that they did, however, enjoy project-based learning and group work. Based on feedback from the focus group with the cohort, the staff agreed that effective actions to meet the targets around this cohort were to implement project-based learning and increased group work in classes with these students. The actions were effective and contributed to the achievement of the targets set for this cohort. Focus groups. A focus group is a specified cohort of students gathered together to discuss their insights into a certain topic or issue. The outcomes of this qualitative data can assist with and impact on the setting of specific SMART targets. The why of focus groups. Why use focus groups? Pre-prepared questions, deeper and more detailed answers, less time consuming than one-on-one interviews, get different perspectives. Considerations. Is it representative? How many people? 5, 6, 7, 8? How do we explain the purpose of the focus group to the participants and gather their consent to participate? Carefully plan the discussion areas. How to record answers. Ensure all have an equal chance to speak. Who is the best person to chair it? Scenario. A rural post-primary DEIS school collaborated with an urban post-primary DEIS school to progress DEIS target setting within literacy. The urban school's student body was composed of over 70 different nationalities and had a partnership with Parents Target to improve engagement with parents of displaced students. The rural school decided to include this target within their plan, despite having already excellent links with a small number of parents of displaced students within their school. What are the implications of this within DEIS action planning?